Good morning, Facebook. Good morning. Good morning. It is Sunday, the 28th, last day of February, and I think I'm live now. It's always like a delay here when I use my computer. It is Sunday morning, about 7:50. I have a few minutes while I'm waiting for my friends to show up and go for our Sunday morning run. I think we're doing 10 miles this morning. So I just wanted to go on really quick. And this topic has come up recently. It's really a topic over and over again about digestion that people ask me. And a lot of people make comments that when they eat here at Aroma Time, that they feel full, but they don't feel bloated. And then, of course, we get into a conversation about digestion and things like that. And last month, maybe 2 months ago, I talked about how to properly drink water, when to drink water. I think water is probably one of the most common denominators of most diets, of almost any diet. There are a few diets out there that don't advocate drinking a lot of water. They advocate eating water-rich foods. There's a few diets out there that you'll find those books. So it's not the 100% rule for the common denominator. But I just wanted to drop some information that I learned years and years ago about digestion and food combining. That when I tell people this, it helps them a tremendous amount. So I learned this. When I went and saw Tony Robbins at Unleash the Power Within. This was back in 2001, I think, 2001, 2002, 2001. I went to a UPW in New Jersey. Had followed Tony Robbins a little bit before that, but was able to go to his one of his seminars. And I said the last day, Monday, so it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Monday was nutrition. And I'm like, I've been studying nutrition for a few years now, and I don't think I'm really going to learn anything from Tony. I had no idea like what he was advocating when it came to diet. And so I'm like, I almost skipped the last day because I was like, what's Tony Robbins going to teach me about diet and nutrition? And because the tickets were a lot of money, I stayed and I went to the last day because I figured learn anything I could. But I figured at some point I was going to tune him out and be like, I'm not into this what he's teaching. And I was really, really shocked about Tony Robbins' nutrition approach. So, and I had heard these principles before, but how he laid it out was so simple. So I want to share those tips that I learned. And whenever I tell people these tips on digestion and food combining, they're like, oh my gosh, Marcus, this made a huge difference. So the story is our bodies are mostly water, right? We know that. We're 80% water, 75, 80% water. Let's just say 3/4 water. The earth is 3/4 water. The earth is majority water. So when we consume foods, we want to consume high water content foods. So there's two types of foods they broke down to: condensed foods and high water content foods. Condensed foods, high water content foods. So for example, things that are like fruits and vegetables are a high water content food. Vegetables, high water content. Rice, condensed food, it's low water content. Cheese, low water content. Steak, salmon, pasta, all low water content. These low water content foods take a lot on your body to digest. Most of our energy goes to digestion, right? Our brains take a lot. We can just be sitting there, our brains take a lot of energy, but we don't realize how much energy goes for digestion, which is probably why, as a society, we're just tired all the time. We're on caffeine, and we're always looking, for that caffeine boost, and because this digestion and the way we eat as Americans, the way they've forced food upon us with the grocery stores and even the USDA, their food pyramid and all that kind of stuff is really not the best option. That food pyramid was what came up that still people use. That food pyramid came about because the special interest groups got together, like the Dairy Council, the Meat Council, and all these councils got together and wanted a representation of their product in the American diet, and they were sued, the USDA, for that, and they actually lost because there were special interest groups in that. Harvard came out in 2003, 2004 with their food from their nutrition center, from their nutrition program. They came out with their model of of a food pyramid. It was totally opposite of the USDA's, and they had done this over 10 years, had followed people, done diets, and came with this. But of course, you don't hear much about the Harvard food pyramid. But in 2003, 2004, that was maybe even a little earlier, maybe 2002, that came out, and that really like took all these alternative health practitioners were like, yes, finally, there's documentation here that what we've been talking about is real. So back to the foods, two types of foods: condensed food, which is low water, and a high water content food, which is high water, 75% or more water. So for example, if you were to take a potato is technically a high water food, but once we cook it, like we cook potatoes, it becomes a low water food. It condenses. So when you cook certain things, they switch their water content. What happens with most people is we consume 2 condensed foods per meal. So we'll have steak and potatoes. We'll have pasta and chicken. We'll have shrimp and rice. We'll have sushi, which is fish and rice. So we'll eat 2 condensed foods. When you eat 2 condensed foods, your body is putting a lot of energy towards digestion, and this is where people have digestion issues. So proper food combining. Now we can really get into this and do a 4-hour seminar, 8-hour seminar on fruit, vegetables, when to eat them, when not to eat them, how far apart to eat them. It's very, very important. If you want to look up any kind of food combining principles, really worth the read, food combining principles. So for example, like you shouldn't eat fruit after a meal. You should eat fruit before a meal. Fruit goes through, fruit is one of the fastest foods for transit time, going from one end to the other end of your body. And when you eat something that is condensed, rice, chicken, baked potatoes, French fries, and if you eat fruit behind it, you're set up for a digestion nightmare. Now, a lot of us, especially when you get older and your body just can't produce the enzymes and can't produce things to properly buffer your digestion, then all of a sudden we have a society that is all of a sudden now taking Tums, Rolaids, and other kinds of digestives. I had a lot of really digestive issues when I was 27, 28, working in the kitchen, working late, eating after dinner service, and then sometimes going out with the guys for a beer or something, wreaked havoc on my digestion. And I was at a point in Colorado at 28 years old where they wanted to operate on me. The medicines they were giving me weren't working. And the doctor was like, well, we should probably look into, send you somebody for, to open up your trachea and this and that, and whatever, some kind of surgery. And I'm like, this is crazy, 28 years old, and I'm having these major digestion problems. And then I discovered baking soda. Baking soda is really only a Band-Aid for the underlying cause of why you have digestion issues. I do like baking soda. Baking soda is great for, especially for me, for running for long distances. It's great for a fix for digestion. I normally travel with baking soda when I travel because I typically eat foods that I typically don't eat, combinations that I don't eat them, and just to have baking soda around makes a huge, massive difference. But it's not the fix for all the baking soda. It's just what helps get you through the situation. Whenever I go back to really, really following my strict food combining, where I'm not eating 2 condensed foods at one meal, it makes a massive difference. And I'm eating fruit at a certain time of the day, or I'm spacing it out, and I eat lots of vegetables. People love the keto diet because they get to eat all this meat. But if you notice what the keto and what the paleo, what these diets are touting is a protein and lots of vegetables. They're not doing a protein and a starch. So people get confused and say, well, the starch must be the problem, the carbohydrate must be the problem. If you reverse that role, and there's a lot of doctors that do reverse that role, or say, okay, no meat, let's do the rice, let's do the sweet potatoes, let's do the potatoes, let's do all those kind of. There's even one doctor that even says, well, even pasta is okay, and this guy's a heart doctor and very, very successful. But let's not do the other condensed food with it. Let's just do pasta with tons of vegetables. Let's do rice with tons of vegetables. And you start off with a big salad. Let's do potatoes with a lot of vegetables. Let's do rice with stir-fried vegetables, and skip the chicken, skip the shrimp, skip the beef. So because those are other condensed foods. So, but even if the nice theory about the condensed food theory is you can be vegetarian, you can be vegan, you can be you can eat meat. That theory doesn't ask you to give up those certain things. That theory just asks you to space them out. Doesn't ask you to give up fruit, just asks you to space it out. Doesn't ask you to give up carbohydrates, just asks you to space it out. And one of the things why keto works so well, people lose weight so quickly, is because you're not having those two condensed foods at the same time. And people sometimes confuse that with, well, I need to go back on keto, I need to go back on keto. It's so hard to do and this and that. But if people just approach this food theory of food combining and the condensed food theory, they probably experience great results as well. So if you do drink water on this, you should drink water well outside of your meal because you want your digestive juices and enzymes to be fully intact. I'm just now drinking some water now this morning. When I get back from my run, I'll make some fresh juice. I'll eat a little fruit. And then for lunch, I'll probably have a big salad. Dinner tonight, like what do I do for dinner tonight? I'll probably have, if I have salmon, I'll have lots of vegetables with it. Or if I'll do something like maybe a baked sweet potato, I'll have a lot of vegetables with it. I'll have a salad with it. But I won't have any fruit. Once you start eating vegetables and once you start eating starches or proteins, fruit is like a thing that you have to really space out 3 hours, 4 hours, and especially melons. Melons, there's been saying in the nutrition world for years, melons, eat them alone or leave them alone. Melons are the one things you shouldn't really combine with anything, not even other melons. So, so condensed food theory, just watch what you're eating together. Good morning, everybody who's tuning in. Good morning, Greg. Hi, Lloyd. Hi, Michelle. Good morning, Albie. Albie, you playing today anywhere? You playing at Roscoe or anywhere? I know sometimes you play on Sundays somewhere. Let's see. So, that's about it. It's 8 o'clock, 8:02. I'm surprised nobody's coming to the restaurant yet to tell me it's time to go on our run. But that's, I just figured I'd go on. I had 10 quick minutes, 15 minutes just to talk about condensed food theory and food combining. So if anybody's having any digestive issues, and again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just talking about what's worked for me, but all this stuff is documented very, very well. So if you go on and do some research, you'll find that that there's a lot of other practitioners and people that have great success with this. But I know for me, this food combining works really well. And I wish I was more conscious about it. I have not been conscious about it. I haven't been as conscious as I should be about it. I like food, and that's, I think, a lot of our excuses with a lot of people is we like food, and I don't want to give this up. I don't want to give that up. And I like different textures. I like crunchy fried. I like, so this is one of the things that I need to be more diligent on too. But I notice when I do it, it's just a world of difference with my digestion. Even when I wake up better, your body at night, is assimilating all that food. And when you wake up in the morning, your body wants to get rid of it. Your body's processed it all night. And I know when I food combine properly the previous day, especially at nighttime, I wake up with so much more energy. My energy levels are significant difference from one day to another on that. I can actually notice a difference. So, all right, folks, that's it. Happy Sunday. Hope everybody enjoys their day today. And have a great day, everybody. And we'll talk to you later. And let's see. Today's the last day of our salmon special, $9.99. Tomorrow, I think we're doing lobster mac and cheese. We're trying to figure out how much lobster we have left and if we can have enough lobster to go through the week. Lobster meat. So I think we do. If Michelle gets in today, her and I will talk about that. But it might be lobster mac and cheese next week for $9.99, or maybe ribeyes. We're talking about doing the ribeye steak again as a $9.99. Not 100% sure yet. And that's it, folks. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll talk to you later.